Welcome back, ScreenRanters. With all the new Suicide Squad news coming out, we thought we'd chat about it, mostly by doing some fantasy casting once again, and try to convince you why these choices are the best, and why Warner Brothers should start taking notes. So, we're taking the 2016 Suicide Squad and the Joker, then adding in actors from two different decades in their place. Firstly, the era of attitude and grunge, the 90s, then the era that's happening right this moment.
I made a Suicide Squad!
That's right. We've made two whole squads, so pull out that unwanted present that Amanda Waller left in your noggin and let's get started. 1990s. Harley Quinn, Drew Barrymore. We kick off with an absolute veteran of the acting profession. Drew Barrymore has been in the industry since 1978 when she was just 3 years old. From there, she made her name in 1982's ZT. She currently holds a Golden Globe due to her wonderful performance in 2009's Grey Gardens. Due to all of this, we nominate Drew Barrymore as Harley Quinn. By 1999, Barrymore would be 24 years old, so Harley would be on the young side. However, Barrymore had a rough upbringing that may help influence her performance as Dr. Harley Quinzel. Also a weird connection. In 1992, Barrymore was in a film called Poison Ivy, but alas, it had nothing to do with the DC character. Deadshot, Wesley Snipes. To add some star power into the 90s franchise, we went with an actor that's been involved with action films for a lot of their career, as well as playing a comic character in the 90s and 2000s. We're chatting about the great Wesley Snipes. Some of the big action roles Snipes has been in include Demolition Man, U.S. Marshals, The Blade Trilogy, The Expendables 3, and so on. On top of this, he made a cameo in What We Do in the Shadows, which makes him even more great. Snipes has even spent time in prison due to tax evasion. As such, he can probably relate to Deadshot being locked up. Captain Boomerang, Hugh Jackman. When you think of an Australian actor, who's the first person that comes to mind? No one ever thinks of Hugh Jackman. Yeah, okay, obviously they do, but in the 90s, not so much. He was an up-and-comer then, as he only got his screen acting start in 1994's Law of the Land. By the end of the decade, he was cast as Wolverine in the X-Men franchise. Apparently, he did pretty well in those. So since we see that he has the acting ability, as evident by his later career, Jackman would be ideal for Boomerang. After all, he was nominated for an Oscar due to 2013's Les Miserables. Jackman also has good comic timing, which will be invaluable as quippy Boomerang. Diablo, Antonio Banderas. For Diablo, we wanted to bring a big name to the franchise to portray him. As such, we've selected Antonio Banderas. By 1998, Banderas had become a prominent name in the US due to his role in The Mask of Zorro, which, nice connection here, is the same franchise that Bruce Wayne's family were witnessing at the theater before they left, and, well, you know Batman's origin story. It gets told a lot. Beyond being the swashbuckling hero, Banderas has the acting talent to be in a big franchise like this. After all, he was nominated for an Oscar for his role in 2019's Pain and Glory. As such, he would easily nail the role of El Diablo. Killer Croc, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Since 2016's Killer Croc was made with prosthetics rather than CGI, we need a tall and beefy actor to take on the role in the 90s. With that in mind, there's only one acting talent that springs to mind for the role of the human-crocodile hybrid, Arnold Schwarzenegger. At 6'2", and being a multi-Mr. Olympia winner, Schwarzenegger would be ideal to be the physically intimidating character. He has such a rich history in action films which will be very useful. As well as being a big name in the 90s, he also has experience in DC films, since he played Mr. Freeze in 1997's Batman and Robin. At least in Suicide Squad, he wouldn't utter any terrible puns, huh?
You are not sending me to the corner.
Katana, MingNa Wen. For the role of Katana, we've gone with MingNa Wen. She has plenty of experience in action films and was very active in the 90s, with roles as Chun-Li in that terrible Street Fighter film. Its only other redeeming factor was the amazing performance by Raul Julia. On top of this, Wen also voiced Mulan in the animated film of the same name in 1998. From there, she also lent her voice to the animated Spawn TV show as Jade. Today, she was recently in the role of Melinda May in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. With all that action experience, playing the katana-wielding Katana would be perfect for Wen. Enchantress, Kate Winslet. By the end of the 90s, Kate Winslet had been nominated for an Oscar twice, which isn't bad considering that she only made her screen debut in 1991. The first nomination was for Sense and Sensibility, the second for Titanic. When, she didn't let Jack on the floating door, there was plenty of space, by the way. Anyway, the British actor would be ideal for the role of Enchantress / Dr. June Moon. The only downside is she doesn't have much experience with action films. However, neither did Cara Delevingne when she was first cast in the role. With 5 Oscar nominations and winning 1, Winslet has the talent and range to pull off the 2 very different characters. The Joker, Willem Dafoe. Many fans online have been begging and pleading for DC to cast this actor as the Joker for years. Well, now they sort of get their wish. We want 90s Willem Dafoe to don the green hair and clown makeup. He has the perfect sinister expression for the Clown Prince of Gotham. He's already been a supervillain when he popped up in the original Spider-Man trilogy and telling people that he's a scientist, but with Joker, he can up the unstable evil he portrayed as Norman Osborn. Dafoe has clearly got the acting chops, as he's been nominated for an Oscar 4 times. It's surprising that he doesn't have one yet. Maybe he could pull a Joaquin Phoenix and win as Joker. Present day. Harley Quinn, Emma Stone. Now we're up to the present day squad. With that in mind, we have a particular talent for the role of Harley Quinn, and she's an Oscar winner, Emma Stone. Over her career, Stone has been in a variety of different genres, from zombie slaying in Zombieland, dancing and singing in La La Land, and smacking tennis balls in Battle of the Sexes. Stone also has experience in comic films, since she was Gwen Stacy in the Amazing Spider-Man franchise before her unfortunate ending. Anyway, Stone is also able to play characters that are on the edge of their sanity with ease, which makes her ideal for the much-loved Harley. Deadshot, Idris Elba. What? Did we choose Idris Elba for Deadshot just because he's in the Suicide Squad reboot and we wanted to ride some of the recent buzz? Come on. Anyway, we have other reasons. Elba is able to play stern, genius characters as well, as seen in Luther, which is a trait that Will Smith's Deadshot tended to show, as though the whole weight of the world rests on his shoulders. Elba would nail that as Floyd Lawton. Side note, Elba also won a Golden Globe for his Luther performance. Elba also has plenty of comic film experience with his role in the MCU as Heimdall. He'd also make a great James Bond. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Captain Boomerang, Liam Hemsworth. For Captain Boomerang, aka George Digger Harkness, we need an Aussie actor to wield the boomerang of destruction, and for that we went with Hemsworth, not the hammer-swinging god one over at the rival company, nor the one carving out a name for himself in Westworld. That leaves us with one. We volunteer as tribute the younger Liam Hemsworth. He has history with being in action franchises, since he was a pivotal role in The Hunger Games as Gale Hawthorne. On top of this, Hemsworth also has experience of leading fantasy films with 2016's Independence Day Resurgence, even if that film was a bit of a flop. But with one Hemsworth at Marvel and the other at DC, it would be a fun family rivalry at the box office. Diablo, David Castaneda. For the role of Diablo, or El Diablo if you want to be formal, we went with a Latino actor that's been getting a fair amount of praise recently, David Castaneda. The praise we're talking about is for being Diego Hargreaves in Netflix's Umbrella Academy. With that, he has experience in comic productions. As Diego, Castaneda is basically the Raphael of the Teenage Ninja Turtles. He has something to prove and wants to be seen as the leader, only he overcompensates. Since Castaneda has shown to nail this, he could easily become Diablo on the silver screen. Strange connection. Castaneda is also in The Tax Collector. That's a film directed by David Ayer, the director of the 2016 Suicide Squad film. Killer Croc, Thorbjornsson. For Waylon Killer Croc Jones, we need an actor that will be a massive, intimidating presence, just like what we did for the 90s, so we had one actor in mind. You might remember him from Game of Thrones, Thorbjornsson. He played the role of the massive mammoth the Mountain in the show. If there's a world record involving strength, there's a good chance that Thor has broken said record. He's a pretty strong chap. Bjornsson has finished in the top 3 of the world's strongest men competition since 2012, even winning it in 2018. He's also very tall, at nearly 6'8", so imagine him wearing the prosthetics to become Killer Croc. Yeah, we probably won't even sleep tonight with that image. Katana, Tao Okamoto. For For this one, we're gonna have to pull a Laura Haddock in the MCU and have an actor play 2 different roles in the DCEU. For the role of Katana, we want Tao Akamoto. She originally appeared in the 2016's Batman v Superman as Mercy Graves, so we'd have to ignore that in order for Akamoto to pick up the super special soul-sucking sword. Mega alliteration on that one. Akamoto first stepped into the Hollywood limelight with her role in 2013's The Wolverine, which was actually her film debut. Recently, you can find her over in Westworld, and weirdly, Akamoto's Wolverine co-star, Rila Fukushima, played Katana in the Arrow TV show. Seems only right that Akamoto is the film's Katana. We like connections like that. Enchantress, Michaela Cole. Michaela Cole is one of the hottest rising actors in British television. Recently, she received a lot of praise for her performance as Arabella in I May Destroy You. See, even Hugh House Laurie loved it. Cole also created and wrote the series. Prior to this, she won a BAFTA for her role in the comedy show Chewing Gum, which is another series that she created. With all of this on her CV, we want Cole as Enchantress. As seen in I May Destroy You, Cole can walk on the darker side, which is ideal for the magical baddie. Beyond these roles, Cole's also been in fantasy productions such as Black Mirror and Star Wars: The Last Jedi. The Joker, Adam Driver. The Joker is one of the most enticing roles for actors. All that mysterious darkness and instability is fun to act with, so instead of damaged forehead tattoo Leto, we have another young actor in mind. We wanted another top-tier talent that's likely going to be around for ages. After seeing his anger acting in Marriage Story, we gotta go with Adam Driver. He only got his screen debut in 2009, yet so far he's been nominated for 2 Oscars. That's a Marriage Story and Black Klansman. Driver also has a history with CGI and fantasy due to playing Kylo Ren in the recent Star Wars trilogy. And with that, well, we made 2 Suicide Squads.
May I present to you the Suicide Squad.
And that's a wrap. What fantastic film franchise alliteration should we tackle next? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more, please like, share, and subscribe. All those actions really help us out. Finally, thanks for joining us today. See ya.